is Not Sam Wrestling.
Introducing your host from New York, here is Sam Roberts.
It's NXT Day. I mean, I guess every day at the Performance Center is NXT Day because it's kind of who's here. But today's a very special day because today is the day that precedes tonight, and tonight is the night that 2 hours for the first time ever on USA, NXT is going to be live, and the women's champion of the world, Shayna Baszler, is here. Shayna, first of all, what's the haps?
Doing champ stuff, you know.
I mean, I don't know. I can only assume, but I assume. I mean, it sounds great. Is there anything like you haven't had a match on USA yet, but you've had you had an appearance on the first episode. Like, is there a different energy in Full Sail when you guys know this is going out to USA?
There's definitely the energy is a lot like takeover energy. You know?
Every week.
And it's crazy. It's an adrenaline dump.
Yeah.
But there's definitely like something in the air back there. There has been the past few weeks, and I think the fans can feel it as well when they're out there, and it's like a symbiotic relationship. The fans can feel it, and we feed off that energy, and then they feed off us. So it's a cool time.
What are the after effects of it? Like, I've always wondered, what's that dump like for you guys, especially, I mean, now you're doing takeover quality matches on TV every week, but like the high that you must go on when you know you've killed it at a takeover, because you've felt it, and literally everybody that's performed at a takeover has felt it. But that high is so high. How do you organically come off of that in a healthy way that allows you to just keep rolling on to the next thing?
You know, it's funny, I was discussing that with like Jess and Marina, because we had this tradition when we were doing TV tapings before, that after TVs we'd have like a drink and McDonald's or like cheese, like something, you know. But we're like, man, this is every week now, so we can't like be eating cheeseburgers every week.
Yeah, because I got like 5 weeks to get myself back in shape.
It's not like that anymore. I think it's just now the schedule is such that we have to find like little ways to let the pressure valve off. Because I mean, like last week we were live Wednesday night, and I had to be at the airport at 5 a.m. to go do a show Thursday night. So
right,
and then we were on all weekend, you know, and we didn't get back till Monday, and now we're doing TVs every Wednesday. So I think it's just a matter of finding times and ways to kind of decompress now.
Yeah.
That's not. It doesn't have to all be at once.
Right.
Just being able to maintain so that we can have a high work rate.
Does a move like this even put the main roster like in any of your, I mean, I can't speak for everybody obviously, but in your head, like I feel like this cements kind of NXT as that third brand where it's not like you're not thinking about the mobility as much anymore.
I mean, I think any roster I'm on is the main roster.
Right.
But you know, it's not, it's such a crazy time right now. It would be a mistake, I think, to look anywhere else than right at what we're doing right at the moment.
Yeah.
It's such a important and historic time. You know, obviously it's more of a side shuffle now. It's not, I don't think it's called up anymore. Where it's more of a call across, I guess. But
just call over here.
I think the opportunities, and I think people don't understand that, like, having more options now. So it's not just about being called up. It's about, I can mix it up. So now we can see kind of this. I can conceivably, as the NXT Women's Champion, have a WrestleMania moment.
Right.
I could conceivably, as the NXT Women's Champion, be a viable competitor in the Royal Rumble.
Right.
Like, it's not like, here's the special attraction. You know what I mean? So
for you to get thrown into a Money in the Bank match is not a crazy thing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think the opportunities are there no matter where we're at now. It's equal ground. So
did you know how well you were going to take to the NXT way of life? I mean, I know you had already wrestled a lot before getting here, so it's not like pro wrestling was new to you, but sports entertainment and NXT and WWE is like an animal into and of itself, and I feel like for some people it clicks, some people it doesn't click, some people are better doing different things. Like, you know, the way you propelled to the top of the women's division and have just stayed there and stayed there inarguably. Like, you're not in this spot where people are going like, why is she still? It's like, no, she's still the best, right? So did you come in going like, oh, I'm going to be able to be the best here, or did you go, I got to figure out what the learning curve is?
There was obviously things I had to learn, and I think when you look back at like my Mae Young matches as compared to now, you'll even see a difference. But I think that I am the perfect ingredients of like luck and circumstance, where I had coaches for MMA, because I was never in MMA for the purpose of like, one day I'm going to go wrestle.
Yeah.
But I happened to have coaches that were also professional wrestlers. So when that opportunity presented itself, it wasn't like I had to go learn a bunch of new stuff. I learned the same stuff I've been learning, maybe a little different.
Right.
So that helped. And then it helped that NXT at the time is like putting a big focus on their women's division. And I think the rise of Ronda in the UFC, putting mixed martial arts at the forefront, just made this storm of like, people were ready to see this kind of no-nonsense realism. There was a time where, I wouldn't have fit back in, I don't think I would have fit in any other time period, at least in the U.S., for women's wrestling. So I think it was just, I happened to be born at this time and like had the right coaches, and obviously at the PC we have like the best coaches in the world. So
and you happen to be coachable, right? Like some people,
you
they just doesn't.
Contrary to what you may think, I did not come to NXT thinking I knew everything, and I think that's a very important thing. You can't don't come in expecting anything. Come in wanting something, but don't come in expecting anything, and work. Put your nose in the ground and work, and it all comes out in the wash.
So you never had aspirations, like when you were in MMA, because I know you grew up a wrestling fan,
mm-hmm.
but when you were in MMA, you were like, this satiates that need? There was no sort of...
Yeah, I think I definitely got into MMA, and a lot of my MMA stuff came from my love of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
I would come out with a guitar and like say crazy things in interviews. That it was be like, how do you want to win today, or how do you see yourself winning, Shayna? And I'd be like, I'm gonna get DQ'd because I'm gonna run her through with my guitar, and like just crazy things. And it's funny because now I'm here and I'm like the fighter, so I'm like,
right, yes.
I was like more outlandish when I was fighting, but it was never I did not do MMA with the purpose to one day. I didn't think I was one day going to pro wrestle.
Right.
It just kind of happened naturally, and I think if I had been in MMA with that as a plan, I wouldn't be the wrestler I am today. I think the reason I am the wrestler I am today is because I was fully in MMA. I would 100% know what it feels like to stand behind the curtain, to go out into a fight, face someone trying to take my lunch money and try to be the best in the world at it.
Right.
I know 100% what that feels like. And I think if I had gone into it with this, like, I'm going to see what I learn, and then I'm going to go into this pro wrestling stuff, I wouldn't be what I am. So I think everything just kind of happened, and I just accepted the ride as it went.
Did you fight as a kid? Like, did you get into fights?
I didn't get into fights. I learned to wrestle just by proxy because my dad was a wrestling. My dad and my uncle were wrestling coaches, but it was more. I thought I could fight, so I was mouthy, but.
Yeah, potentially. Should this turn into a fight, I'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Now that I know how to fight with game planning and technique, I'm not sure what I would have done. Because trying to pin someone or something isn't like what you do. But, I wasn't like... I was always one of those kids that was like mouthy enough to try to get you to like want to punch me so that I could have an excuse.
Right.
But it never really went that way.
Like you
Just
start
kids.
this thing. Yeah,
so,
totally. Well, look, I'm super happy for you, and it's super cool that you're getting this match for the first time in NXT on NXT TV tonight. Mm-hmm. Do you cycle through like different ways to choke people out and different way like how can I make this come out of nowhere? How can I change this?
Some people, when they go to school for like 10 years to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And some people go to school for 10 years to be a lawyer. I went to school for 16 years learning how to put people to sleep and bend their limbs in ways it doesn't go. So, I have my doctorate in that.
Well, I can't wait to see the doctorate in action. Thanks for making the time.
Yeah, thank you.